energy. And then there's physical health. So we have all these musculoskeletal conditions, all of them. I know, I'm in the profession and I've seen it grow. And I said to myself back in the late 90s, and I say it now, with all the advancements we have made then and we have made now in the areas of orthopedic medicine, or even orthopedic fitness, physical therapy, and health in general, why do we still have a rising incidence of lower back pain? It doesn't make sense, because we're not looking at the body as a whole, number one. And we're not looking at, lifestyle factors, number two. We talked about the two leading predictors to injury. We talked about the orthopedic dilemma. And we know that exercise is great for everybody, but not everybody's created equal. And the one size fits all is out the window. And number two, we have to assess, we don't guess, before we design an exercise program for an individual. The stats are here. I can show you the statistics all day long, and we're still making that mistake. So the point I'm making, movement. We need to assess movement and not just look at muscles. And we do this by addressing what we call the performance pyramid, that the pyramid is only as stable as the base is wide. So this wide base down here, if it's narrowed because we have imbalances, movement restrictions, etc., but we skip that step, which so many people do, they just start building on top of the imbalance or the weak foundation, and they start having performance problems, and it starts affecting their skill because they didn't do the work in the base. Now, underneath the base, I've created another category called the sub-base, the deep, deep inner core that nobody knows about. I've shown this picture and explained this hundreds of times to people, professionals, etc. And especially the lay person, they'll look at me and go, I had no idea that we had an inner core that operated different from an outer core. And inside of your core, you have stabilizers that stabilize your spine. Well, where's the core? Well, the core is not just the center of your body. The core represents from the top of the shoulders all the way down to those hip flexors I was talking about, your psoas. Let me see if I have a picture of your psoas here. There it is. There's your psoas. That's part of your core. Now on the back side, it goes from your upper trapezius, right there, all the way down to your glutes. So you have a front core, you have an upper, middle, and lower. You have a back core, upper, middle, and lower. You have an outer core, which is what everybody admires, 6-pack and 8-pack abs. And then you have the inner core, and that is where everything is happening. Now, your outer core will stabilize you as you move, no doubt. But what stabilizes the spinal column itself is the inner core. So in order to stabilize the spine, no matter what part of the spine we're talking about here, it could be a cervical injury, middle of the back, lower back, the inner core wraps around your body like a belt and inserts back here by these spinal muscles called your multifidi, etc. That is your first responder to protecting your spine. So somebody comes to me with pain, I do what's called a selective functional movement assessment. It is a movement-based diagnostic system which systematically finds the cause of pain, not just the source. And there's a number of other tests that I do along with the SFMA. And with the SFMA, I can rate and rank your movement challenges. If you don't have pain, then I'll use the functional movement screen. Talked about a screen versus an assessment. And these primal movement patterns that I take my clients through will show me where their movement competency is. In fact, the SFMA and the FMS, they were the first to create a rating and ranking system for movement competency, not only from a physical therapy standpoint, but they were the first to introduce a rating system in fitness so that we can take these 7 tests, score it, rate it, and see where you rate in your movement. Isn't that great? You know, if you don't qualify, if you don't earn your rite of passage, you shouldn't be playing hard.